What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, Division Rivals? This is Steven Hyder with KCD Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. All right, y'all. Today's topic, we're going to talk about University of Tennessee wide receiver Josh Palmer.
Out there. After the 10-yard pickup, Garantano going up top, coming inside.
Definitely, this is a guy that has some momentum in this community in particular, guys. Some of you guys are not even Eagle fans have hit me up about Josh Palmer, kind of wanting to get some information about him. I get why you like him, guys, because I can tell you as a guy that has coached wide receivers myself, a person who just loves the art of route running, I see why people like Josh Palmer, because although there's a lot of polish that still needs to happen here, he does a few of the fundamental things very, very well, starting with the speed release. I just think he does a good job of keeping that center of gravity low and really getting into speed release correctly.
Stop this play. I can't believe they did not stop the play. They're going to come back to Palmer, and that's a touchdown.
I think he's very good at that, actually.
Georgia to his own teammates for catching that one. Garantano coming to the corner again. Same play, same result.
Furthermore, kind of going into his release packages, he's pretty good at that skip release he does. I think he does a really good job of the skip release and kind of setting up the defensive back and then just making sure they can't come even with him. I think he's very, very good at doing that, even though he's not a very nuanced route runner yet, to be honest. He still has a lot to learn.
Plenty of time down the middle, completes it. Nice throw.
For instance, I think he needs to learn more about releasing off the line of scrimmage. I think if he can't beat you with that really good speed release and he can't beat you with that skip release, I think he's a little out of options, to be quite honest. I think he needs further development, actually, from a really talented wide receiver coach to bring his game up to speed.
Good coverage on the outside by Ishmael Birding, but just look at Palmer. Look at the nice, strong.
But what I will say is, man, I love just the little intricacies that you could see from like just a talent perspective from this young man. He's not fast, guys. This is not a fast runner at all. He's a 4.5 to a 4.55 kind of athlete. He's not a burner. He's not a 4.3 guy. He's just not that kind of vertical threat. But if you look at his average depth of target, it is 16 yards. So, I mean, like, he does get vertical, and that kind of leans into some of the concerns you have with him because he just didn't run a very nuanced route tree. But at the same time, it gives you hope that, like, you can see why a guy that's not a burner is getting open that far down the field. And it's because he's good at varying the speeds.
Single coverage, as you see the defensive end drops late.
Like, he's really good at never allowing, like, a cornerback to kind of, like, not only get square with him off the line of scrimmage, but also he's really good at like, really getting on top of a cornerback fast. Like, I think before they know what happens, he varies his speed and he's on top of them. And I think he's got a really good feel for the game in that regard, guys. Now, I will tell you this. Although he has a very idealized NFL frame, he's like 6'1" or somewhere in that area, guys, about 210-ish. Got the very idealized NFL frame. You know, there's going to be people that will worry about the foot speed. My opinion, vertical speed gets a little overrated. I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying it's way overrated. But in addition to that, guys, you guys know that one of the big things scouts will look at is not just your average depth of target. I mean, that tells you kind of where you're being targeted on the field, but then they want to see, in general, from the entire of your route tree, what is your average yards per route run? What are your yards per route run? They want to see at least a 2.0 or higher. And unfortunately, when you do break down Josh Palmer's film and you look at some of the advanced analytics, it's about 1.77. That's where he kind of comes out with the yards per route run, which is a little concerning, guys, but I'll be honest with you. I mean, look, if you have multiple areas to where you're matching the production, matching the underlying analytics, and there's just one area where, you know, it gives you cause for pause or concern, I don't think that I would remove a person from my board solely based upon that. I think sometimes that gets to be a little reactionary, people, when they do that. I'm not personally in favor of that. But, you know, just to be fair and to be honest and to be very forthcoming, I do think that he's an average contested rate guy. I think he's better than what many people may expect, but he's not to the, you know, he's not a Tamarion Terry. He's not a Sage Surratt. You know, he's definitely not, you know, a Chase. He's not any of those type of guys that really have those good, you know, nice kind of wingspans and can play that side of the game. His contested catch rate's about 42%. Those guys are all in around the 60% or higher rate.
Take advantage of it. Going to air it out near side. Touchdown.
I will also say that he's never had a 500-yard receiving career. Even in high school, he fell short of that number, if I'm not mistaken. So he's never really been that type of guy, and some of that has to do with quarterback play and the system and the scheme, and it's just really difficult to break those things down sometimes, guys. But in addition to never having a 500-yard season, he's also never had a 35 or more catch season either. His best season being about like 34 receptions on like 480 some yards, guys. I mean, some people may become concerned about not having the greatest amount of outside speed, not having a really big, production to kind of go over. Like, you didn't really produce highly at the college level. And in addition to that, there is the marker of the 1.77 yards per route run. That may drop his value a little bit, and that might make him more of a late third kind of pick here. He might slide into the fourth, but my gut instinct is that when you really break down the film and you see what the kid has to offer, I still feel like a team's going to take him in the third somewhere. But, crazier things that happen. I can see a guy like this absolutely slipping into the fourth, but my gut instinct would say, if you were telling me to bet money on it, and it's not something I would do because you can't predict NFL GMs, but my bet would probably be on the third, mid-third to late third, to be quite honest. That's where I see his value at right now.
Take the handoff to him. Garantano goes to Palmer. Turns and makes a man miss. He's into Gamecock territory and out of bounds.
Now, all right, guys, let me know, what do you think? What do you guys think about Josh Palmer? I know a lot of you guys really like Josh Palmer a lot, and there are definitely some redeemable attributes to this young man. Like, yes, there's some underlying concerns here. I think I've done a pretty fair job of expressing what those are and showing it to you. But at the same time, guys, while he has those concerns, man, I'm just telling you, the coach in me sees the potential in a player like this. I think this is a guy that if you really feel like you got the right room in place in terms of being able to grow and get guys like, to become the next level in their NFL career. Think Terry McLaurin, who really didn't have a lot of production coming out of Iowa State, got to the NFL and has just been a much better professional player than college player. That's where, like, what I'm saying? Like, Josh Palmer's a different type of athlete. Like, he's nowhere near as athletic as Terry McLaurin, but the production is what I'm referring to here, guys. All right, y'all, let me know your thoughts. Don't forget, if you want to support the channel, you can buy me a cup of coffee. Link is in the description below. Also, don't forget that you can like and comment on the video, guys. That's what spikes the algorithm and gets this suggested to other people. And last but not least, if you're not subscribed, I would love to add you to the community. But in order to do that, guys, I need you to hit that subscription button. Once again, guys, I'm going to be doing a lot of videos like this. We always do this around the draft. You guys know that. But also during the NFL regular season, guys, I want to do a player spotlight. So it'll be players from across the league. It can be any team. It can be any player. I want to spotlight those players during the season and kind of bring that into fruition, guys. So that way, we can bring forth information from everybody. All right, guys. I appreciate y'all's time and attention, and I will see you guys on the next video. All right, y'all. Appreciate it.